Welcome to the week ahead reading for July 20th through 26th. Today we're using cards from the Moonology Manifestation Oracle deck. So interestingly enough, when I sat down to do this reading, it came in right away. So I drew my cards, had them face down, and several hours went by. So I pulled these earlier, went off and did some work, then sat down to record. I was drawn to go get my rose quartz from my little supply of crystals. So I had that just in my hand and then started doing the channeling. And then, as you will see, this was actually a very relevant selection. Patience, space, and time. I then immediately had Faithfully by Journey popping into my head, and the encouragement to step into musicality this week. We are finding our rhythm because this action connects us to our innate flow. And by flow, what we mean is a state of energetic alignment, calm, and joy. This also can be referred to as higher vibrational energy. I'll say that sometimes. If you're in a flow state, it's like when things are just going really well. Oh, wow, that was so easy. Oh, I just pulled right up to my appointment and there was a spot. Like there's this feeling of a connection. On this music theme, it came across like music is our medicine this week. It is completing this patchwork of our soul. I had this visual of just this piece of kind of a medium tone blue fabric. And that is representing us this year. And it has been hacked up all year long, cut here, snipped there, restitched with new colors and new patterns, washed, dried repeatedly, and worn through in some spots. So we are tired after these first 6 going on 7 months of this year. And so in addition to the music piece, which is acting as medicine, I was getting for card number 1 that this is another practice that we can use. And it just so happens it's perfect. So we have the first quarter moon in Libra. Keep your heart open. For context, in case anyone cares, this happens to be the card that is on the front of this deck, just coincidence. And this is perfect for what we've been talking about because when we're discussing Libra energy, music, flow, calm, joy, that is Venusian, that is very specifically Libra. The fact that we would be looking for rejuvenation in this specific manner is great, but keeping your heart open. When we talk a lot about energetic flow, when we're connecting to our intuition, often I and many others will describe that as a feeling of openness within your body, or maybe even specifically in your heart space. So you can think about it like this. If you have your heart open, you're allowing, it's like when a door is opened, you have things that can come in and out. Again, there's an ease, there is a flow to it. This could mean, in addition to music or otherwise, that you are really connecting to that tender heart space. This could be inner child, vulnerabilities, just being open and honest, allowing that, I guess, exchange, if you will. But when you are open, it means that, again, a door is 2 ways. Things can go out, things can come in. So some people might find that others are coming up to you, wanting to tell you their story. And it's about having the discernment. The same when we have a door, we can choose to close it. So we want to have the open heart and us be willing to share, but we want to be intentional about what is coming in, because if it's something that then makes us want to shut down, that defeats the objective of the week. And it's not also about grandstanding, like, let me just run around and tell all my stories and have everyone listen to me. That is not the point of this. It's flow. With Libra, we'll think about connections and relationship, but I was getting there is a distinction here. We're not focusing on our relationships. I mean, here, even in this card, she is alone, but it's about how the energy is moving rather than needing to be with or conversing with other people in a specific way. It's just the emphasis on ease and movement. So it's at this point that I'm then remembering what I'm holding. I'm laughing because rose quartz is a crystal that you can use. Like, I have done this, I don't even know how many times. I'm just like laying down and I just put it on my chest because it helps as a heart opener. It is calming you. It is helping you to relax and release any anger or frustrations or anything that's really negatively charged. So Reminder, if you have something like this or literally have rose quartz, it could be really great and supportive. So to recap right now, we have using music as medicine, thinking about heart opening practices, thinking about how we are engaging with other people, how vulnerable we are being, and then also potentially using crystals to support the heart opening and healing. Next up, we are reminded several times this week about the challenges of our reality. This could be internal blocks. Again, we're trying to keep things open, have the flow. It could be external obstacles or situations where we are overgiving, overextending. Our boundaries are being challenged, are completely disintegrated, like that cloth that we have, the patchwork that's worn through, or really any other imbalances in general. And the quote here that came through is recognition is the first step. And with that, we have our second and final card. The full moon in Gemini embrace the flow of life. Let's all start laughing together because I have been talking incessantly about flow. And of course, it is on this card. So we have our two air signs. And I did want to draw just the quick parallel here. You can think about this visual of we're opening our chest, we're opening our heart. So we're creating this opening, and then naturally what we're doing is we're creating space to then literally embrace as if it's a hug or that connection. We're going from 1 to 2. We may be more likely to actually want to have, quote, connection, but more so in the form of collaboration. It also just seems in general that we're getting more into our head. It doesn't have to be a negative, though. It could mean that we just have moments of really deep and profound thought, or ideas are coming in, or that we are just interested in collaborating with other people for whatever reason. And altogether, these cards are guiding us to, quote, lean in, but let go. Ease and flow are non-negotiable for us this week. And it's because they're going to help us make it through whatever obstacles or stresses are arising. So that might mean for some people, this is either like a really, quote, easy or even lazy feeling week. Like, oh, I'm just in flow, I'm connected, this is wonderful. And that's a nice, not like recharge, but like a reset. And we probably really need this and it's overdue. But for other people, it might feel incredibly jam packed, full of agitation and stressors. And so then we need these tools. That's why it's non negotiable. We need them in order to find our flow. It's like talking about lazy, like getting on the lazy river in order to be able to coast through, to get through despite everything that's going on. We'll need these resources. For the analysis segment, I mentioned this earlier, we have two air signs, and obviously we have very similar visuals. This is not guaranteed across this deck, but it happens to be very, very similar poses of what these people are doing. And then as far as the moon phases go, we have a first quarter, which comes before the full moon. So this is a natural progression. We're going from 1 to 2 in a sequence, and we're going from first quarter to full moon. We have Leo season starting on Wednesday, and we have a lot of other aspecting planets, specifically activations of Neptune and Saturn, which are in Aries. So I think that makes sense as far as our backdrop. Maybe this means it'll feel like inspired action, and that's for the people where they're naturally in flow. But for others, it could feel like, oh, this is starting, this is coming up, a lot is going on, because there is honestly a decent amount of activity astrologically this week. So there's a lot of things going on, and you're like, oh, I really need this stuff in order to float my way through it. So to go a little bit more day by day, to recap, on Monday, I mentioned we have the Libra moon. Then we have Jupiter-Neptune, which is retrograde, trining. So this is Leo and Aries, two fire sign activations. More details on that in my astro weather report, as well as the rest of these, really. Then we have Jupiter and Pluto retrograde in opposition. And this is all like in the morning time. So around 3:30 Eastern is that Jupiter-Neptune, and then Jupiter-Pluto is around 11. Then we get to Tuesday. That's where we have the moon going into Scorpio. So we're picking up some water energy, hopefully putting out a little bit of that fire. But really, those aspects that are happening on Monday, they are going to ripple into Tuesday. They can ripple for many, many days, which is why there's just a lot going on in fire and air, which is where Pluto is in Aquarius. Then we have more fire. Wednesday, Leo season is starting in the afternoon. Then Thursday, wonderful news. We have Mercury currently in the water sign of Cancer, stationing direct around 7 p.m. So this should be a lift. It does make sense that we had this popping up of Gemini energy. Oh, our thoughts. We should start seeing things a little bit clearer, kind of. We still have the whole post shadow, so we'll have repetitions. There's still going to be some intensity of things coming up, but at least we're starting to, quote, head in the right direction. But there is a mental shift that's going to be happening around Thursday evening. For you, maybe it's Friday, maybe it's most of the day Thursday. And then just a couple hours later, the moon goes into Sagittarius, another fire sign. Friday, no major updates. Saturday, we have Neptune retrograde, Pluto retrograde, sextiling. So again, that is fire and air happening together. And then finally on Sunday, we have the moon going into Capricorn in the morning. And then Saturn retrograde starting in Aries around 4 p.m. Eastern time. So lots and lots of activations happening throughout the week, a ton of fire activations. And more specifically, I'll clarify, a lot of those are in Aries, which is the sister sign to Libra. And when we have sister signs, again, they work together, but there's a lot of tension because they just fundamentally operate in a different way. So I think that's part of why we need the bomb so intensely. We need Libra to help balance out those Aries energies and tendencies. And then the fact that the other activations are in Aquarius, which is our missing sign here, because we have these two air signs, and that's the third one completing our trio. So that is supportive, and all of these air elements can work together to hopefully collaborate with all that fire. Air and fire are complementary energies. There's going to be a lot to navigate through. So I think even very simply, just the messages on these cards, keep your heart open, embrace the flow of life. It's like, hold on tight, spider monkey. If you were watching this first thing in the morning on the 20th, then it's not too late to attend my bi-monthly psychic development workshop. This is an opportunity to ask questions about my experiences, your experiences, as well as play some games to develop your intuition. That is at 11 a.m. Eastern time. I'll include the information in the description. And then on the 27th, so next week, just to forecast out a little bit, I have my month ahead August astro weather report. So I do a live class and insight timer, and then that's what gets broken out into 2, sometimes 3 videos that I put out for the following month. So if you haven't listened to any of the July astro weather reports, those came out at this point many, many weeks ago. There's just 2 of them chilling at the top of my YouTube channel. You can go find those. If you're interested in any of the astrology that we talked about today, or just astrology in general, they're really great resources. Check out the July month ahead forecast. That's available on my Insight Timer, as well as embedded in my blog post for this month, which has the transcript as well as the actual audio. And I already know from where I am in time of recording this that the reading has been completely spot on and relevant. So I had done that probably September of last year. So it's crazy to be this far out in the year knowing that I channeled some of these almost a year ago and seeing, oh yeah, that is exactly the portal that we're in. And I do think even the general themes work with a bit of what we've been talking about today and some of what we've been talking about recently and some of what is upcoming. So yeah, if you do listen to any of those astro weather reports or the month ahead psychic forecast, leave a comment, message me, let me know how it resonates and how it connects with you. I love hearing personal stories from people.